saying, it's been a fun week so far. GDQ always helps me unwind after or sometimes during a long day, and the least I can do is donate a little bit each day to show my appreciation. Good cause, good runs, good vibes all around. Honk. We have $25 coming in from Kurai Okami saying, over the last couple years, I watched family fight the evil that is cancer. So far, they have persevered or beat it all together. Here's to bringing an end to cancer. Thanks to all the staff and runners for all the work you do to make this a reality. And with that, it seems like we are ready to send it over to Shed, RiskyCB, and Sneaky with Gato Roboto. Give them all a hand.
Hi, this is Gato Roboto. I'm Shed. This is Sneaky.
I'm RiskyCB.
I'm Rainbowpoogle.
And I'm Zic3.
And yeah, we are pretty much ready to go. This is a platformer Metroidvania. An indie game came out just over half a year ago. Pretty neat. Lots of cool movement, pretty fast, cool glitches. We're ready for you. But you might notice the game's kind of in black and white. And Sneaky and I think that's boring, so we're going to spice it up a little bit.
I think it's clean.
How about that one? All right, let's kick it off. Do you want to count us in, Zic?
Sure, sounds good. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So right off the bat, we're going to skip some intro cutscenes and such, some dialogue. We have a method to skip through the dialogue as fast as possible, which is pretty neat.
Fast text is lovely.
Yes. You might notice we are also this cute little cat.
Cute cats are also lovely.
So the first thing that these guys are going to be doing is they're going to be going down to get their suit. The suit is going to be a very important part of the run. This game is very similar to Metroid in that aspect, where they will be a cat and they will have access to a suit, which gives them access to all their powers. That thing they just stepped on right there is a save point. The save points give you your mech if you are a cat, while also, if you're in your mech, they fully heal you. And so what they're going to be doing up here is they're going to be very soon performing a trick called Small Mech, and that's going to be very important to the run. Now, what they're going to be doing on the save points is they will get on a save point, and they will be exiting the mech on a certain frame when it is giving them the mech, and that will allow them to get this Small Mech glitch. So the mech is normally 2 blocks high, and the cat is 1 block high in hit detection. But by doing this little glitch, they're going to be in a mech, but they will be 1 block high. So that will allow them to take the mech into areas you're not normally supposed to go. It will also allow them to skip certain fight rooms and boss rooms.
Like this, for example. This is supposed to be a fight room, but because they are in small mech, it doesn't trigger, which means that's a lot of time saved for not having to shoot things.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that quite a few times throughout the run. We'll basically try and be in small mech as much as possible because of all those fight rooms that we end up just straight up not triggering.
So you're going to be seeing on, if you look at Risky's screen, Risky is now going to be getting the rocket power up. These rockets are going to be really great, as you can use the rockets to not only give you a lot of damage in combat situations, but the runners will be using those rockets a lot to give them momentum in their jumps. You can shoot them downwards and get boost upwards, or you can shoot them horizontally on a wall you're against to get a little more boost upwards, and kind of just really, it really makes the movement in this game pretty beautiful.
Yeah, right now we can really only use it for vertical movement. We'll be able to use it for horizontal movement soon, but just not yet.
Shed and Risky going for another small mech glitch. And now if you look on your bottom screen on Risky, he just skipped through a boss room using that small mech glitch. You see it again.
Oh no.
Shed having a little difficulty setting up the trick. It is a very difficult trick. There you go, he gets it. If you look down on Risky's screen, you'll kind of see how these rockets are going to be giving a lot of fluent movement through these areas and just speeding up the way you can get up these platforms.
I hope you weren't looking at my screen just then. That was a mess. Oh.
So these runners, now that they have the rockets and the suit, There are 3 main areas you need to clear out in this game. The aqueducts, the heater core, and the ventilation shaft. And while that may not be the order you do them casually, that will be the order that these runners will be doing it in the run. And something that will be very important to the aqueducts area will be the water mech glitch, which I will let Poogle explain.
Oh boy, water mech. So, because you're in a mech, you really shouldn't be going in the water, because, you know, it's water.
And it hurts.
That if you end up trying to go into the water as when you are in a mech, it will hurt you, and you'll just kind of bounce off the top of it. However, if you look on Risky screen, if you exit the mech the same time as you shoot a missile, you can kind of put your mech into the water underneath you, so that instead of having to use the submarine that was right above the mech,
And is really slow.
and is incredibly slow, you can then have your mech, unfortunately not small mech underwater would be incredibly silly, but you can have your mech with your rockets and all your other stuff while you're underwater, which
Something else that's happening here is that because we're underwater, the missiles are exploding immediately, so we can get that knockback like immediately as we press the button. So you get these like early like triple jumps almost.
Yeah,
It's
and
like the worst jump in the game right there.
It's really bad.
I hate
it's
that
awful.
so much.
It doesn't look like anything.
Ah, I got it.
Let's go.
Now, an important thing to know about being a cat in this game is that as a cat, you see, they don't have a life bar, because as a cat, you only have 1 hit point. If they get hit by any of the frogs, if they're out of the mech, boom, they end up going back to their last save point, which is really inconvenient because it throws you all the way back to the start of the aqueducts here.
So we're doing this whole area backwards since we have water mech, and we're doing that so we can get a certain upgrade first. That's really fast, and then we will. You guys want to explain the levers in the water?
Sure. So there are you have to hit a certain number of levers in this area to lower the water level, but they don't necessarily need to hit them in a certain order. When they hit one, it will just lower the water level. So they can kind of do them in an order which they please as long as they hit them.
Now, this is the reason why we go through this area in said order, the spin jump module, which is basically your generic double jump. However, if you combine it with the rockets, what you end up doing is doing really extra boosted jumps, which if you look as what their runners are doing, they're using the spin jump and then they're firing a rocket behind them to go even faster across things, like right there. And it just works for really nice movement.
If you look on Shed screen, you'll see some of that horizontal movement right here.
It can also be used to cheese a couple of rooms with vertical movement, which is real nice.
So to kind of just clarify, we talked about life and all of that. If you look at the screen while they're in the mech, they do have these UI elements, where on the right you have how much health they have remaining, and on the left there is this bar that's going up. That is how many rockets they can shoot before it overheats. So they can shoot at the moment 2 rockets before the rockets will overheat and have to cool down a bit.
Now, they don't have to shoot both rockets simultaneously, and they don't have to wait for the bar to go all the way down. So long as they don't fill the bar out with their rocket shots, they can
Yeah, we're
continuously pace
perfectly
their
in
shots.
sync. Sorry, I didn't know.
Oh, yo, nice.
Yeah, these runners are very close at the moment.
You want to
Very
wait like
close.
5 seconds for me to catch up?
Yeah, give us one more small mech to do.
There you go.
I don't know, Risky's out for blood now that you called him boring at the beginning.
So up ahead is probably one of the first areas specifically where having small mech is really nice, because there's a couple of pathways that you can just make a lot easier by only being 1 tile high, and it allows for a couple of very silly and kind of obnoxious jumps.
Something we didn't note about the spin jump is the spin jump actually can allow you to bounce off of enemies if you land on them with the spin jump, and that also refreshes your spin jump. So you might see them use a spin jump, land on an enemy, use another spin jump, and then maybe rocket boost. There's a lot of ways you can chain together the abilities in this game for some movement.
Something else we haven't mentioned yet is these ceiling boosts we're going to try and do a lot of the time. If you're in small mech and you do a horizontal missile boost next to a ceiling, you'll actually get more of a boost horizontally than you normally would. Also, this mini boss is a thing.
Yeah, that was a mini boss. So again, because we're in small mech, we don't trigger any bosses to actually activate. However, it still exists, so we can absolutely abuse that fact by just shooting it entirely and killing it before the room even decides that, oh,
All
wait.
its AI is off, basically.
Yeah, and that gets used a lot in this room.
Basically, small mech either skips the fight or lets us kill the enemies in their sleep.
So the runners now are complete with their adventure through aqueducts and now need to go to a section called Heater Court. And this is going to be kind of a scary point in the run where the runners need to be keeping small mech throughout this whole section. They need small mech to break through a small gap in Heater Court. So if at any point something happens to their small mech, they're going to have to find a way to set up another.
And by things happening to it, if we eject from the mech, that removes the glitch. If we die, that removes the glitch.
And the issue being is that you can't actually eject in Heater Core because you're a cat. It's way too hot for a small cat.
Right.
So you have to go all the way back or find some way of leaving and then getting the small mech back, which is a big time loss. Also, because they're technically doing Heater Core backwards, you can soft lock in certain areas. So if you enter certain doors when you're not supposed to, you get like kind of shoved into them, and it's a fun time.
Small cycle skip coming up in this next room. Saves 1 second.
Yeah, this area has some like lava lasers. That's the best way I can describe them, really. And there's a couple times where we can kind of break their cycles. I got the worst possible outcome for this. Okay. Well, I have a lot less health than I normally do. It's fine, I hope.
They remind me of like the salt waterfalls from Super Meat Boy.
They really do, actually, now that
Yeah.
you point it out.
What is nice is that even if you can't get out of the mech when you're in Heater Core, there are still the save points if you absolutely do need to refresh your health.
I'm going to do
So
that probably.
it's a really good safety for when you're just like, oh no, this went horribly wrong, and
I
everything's
lied,
on
I'm
fire.
not going to. Oh, okay. There's a really good cycle skip in this room that I did not get.
Gets it here on the okay, all the runners. Look at that. Being courteous to each other. No one got the cycle.
Okay, it's fine. So this is the objective of this area that we're about to head to after this crawl space that I'm in right now. We picked up coolant, which lets us fire a third rocket before overheating, and then we need to break open all of these tanks. That will cool the area down and allow us to eject if we wanted to, but we're not going to because it's slow.
And now since we have that third
am I
rocket that we
doing?
can fire, we can just leave.
Risky here. You're letting
Yeah.
Fed take the lead.
Good news for me. But yeah, if it wasn't obvious or if you've played this game before, we skipped about 3/4 of this area. And spoilers, we're going to skip about 2/3 of the next one, or more than that, actually, probably. What am I doing now? Risky rubbed off on me.
This is probably the best movement tech in the game for sake of it's a dash. You go fast with it, and we're speedrunners. We like going fast.
So you saw them doing a lot of rocket boosting with the spin jump before, but now that we have the phase module, they're going to be opting to use the phase module over that piece of movement tech.
Neck and neck.
My God.
Oh,
All
wow.
three runners
I'm-
right on
it
the
was so
elevator.
bad.
This is
My neck
great.
is longer.
neck is long.
So the other really nice thing about phase module is that it lets you phase through solid objects, and by solid objects, they're enemies, lava walls, that kind of thing. Which,
Lava laser.
Not walls,
Lava-
though. Not
Sorry.
normal walls.
This area is very short.
Very short. Yeah, I mentioned we're skipping a lot of it. I mean a lot of it. We're literally going in the back entrance, basically, and heading straight to the final boss of the area.
You're meant to do this whole area like as a cat, but because of the small mech glitch rendering the mech 1 block high, you can creep through these ventilation shafts, bringing the mech along, which makes this boss fight an absolute joke, where you're normally supposed to use the lasers on the sides as the cat.
but you can just shoot it instead.
blow it up with the mech.
Oh my God. Stop. Thank you.
And that specific button is the goal of the entire area. So yeah, That's the ventilation shafts. And because small mech breaks this heavily, I believe this was one of the main reasons why there is a category of no small mech.
Hardest room in the game is this
Risky,
updraft room.
A little bit of trouble with those updrafts, but
To do it optimally, I mean.
right.
Reason being the updrafts actually, after a point, refresh your spin module. But because you're going up and down and up and down, it gets really confusing as to when it's refreshed and when you just kind of need to shoot things. Things being yourself into the wall to get more height.
So now that they've completed all 3 areas, they're going to be moving towards the end of the game. But first, they need to get the decoder module to decode the secret message. And they're going to be doing a little trick here. You'll see it on your bottom screen on Risky Screen here in a second, where they're going to be using a certain series of jumps and rockets to kind of get into the loading zone of the ship we started in, which is where the decoder is, without actually opening up the ship. Because of all kind of the sequence breaking we've been doing, the ship isn't technically open right now, but the loading zone still exists. So Risky obtaining the decoder module.
So remind me again how much this actually saves now that we have the
Less
Victory
than a
Task.
second.
So it's a lot of swag that our runners are pulling off excellently. Because rather than do that, you could have just stepped on the button that they're going to step on now to use the decoder module, and you don't even have to do that. Which is great for some of us, like me, who that's really hard for, because that is not an easy trick, and all 3 of our runners got it really well.
Really movement intense part coming up now that we're at the end game.
Yes, this is where you're really going to kind of see the movement of this game shine.
So the lab makes you use everything that you have, everything that you've gotten throughout the game, the movement, the missiles, all of that, and just puts you through the ringer with it. Luckily with small mech, you do get to skip some of the boss arenas, which is really nice. Like this one, for example. You can see on Risky Screen that there is one of those ceiling shooty things. And then you can just stand there and shoot it and kill it, and then while you can see those, you can't see the rest of the enemies in the room, but you do have the hitboxes still in the room. So you can fire missiles off to the left and the right, and you can just hit things with rockets like Risky did just there to just get rid of the rest of them.
Except you'll see on Risky Screen, there's this one dumb guy that you have to wait for. Very nice room. Runners are still very close. This is still anybody's game here.
Yeah, this area can be very unforgiving. And there are going to be a series of fight rooms that you cannot skip. So we're just going to have to go through them, hit everything.
Just be having a tiny bit of trouble getting up there in that room, but not a big deal.
And this is the freest water mech in the game.
You don't even have to shoot a missile for this one.
Now, this is a water fight room, funny enough, that you're supposed to use a submarine for, but we have the mech underwater, so we can just blow things up.
So here on, if you look at Risky Screen, Risky's moving into what will be one of the scary parts of the game, which is the elevator shaft down to the final boss. Now, the runners will be taking a quick safety save here off to the right.
Just in
'cause
case.
This is a big time loss if they mess this up. But you have to ride this elevator shaft down, and there's a big, long combat section all the way down here that you have to make it down without a single heal.
And it's full of RNG. Hooray!
I love RNG in my speed games.
I know, it's great, right? It's really not. This elevator, the frogs where they end up spawning, where they end up having the hole in where you can dodge them as RNG. After a point, you just have RNG spawns of enemies that you have to react to on the fly. It's a time. And on top of that, there's gonna be a vertical line of bullets that you have to phase module through while killing the enemies. It's like, there it is, just showed up on Risky Screen. It's time.
So what they're going to be trying to do here, possibly, is you can get an early kind of finish to this elevator. If you're killing the enemies fast enough, you can skip one of the spawns. So if one of the runners can maybe pull off that early cycle, we may see the lead change hands here, maybe somebody catch up. This elevator could change a lot of things if done correctly.
Now-
Risky having a tiny bit of trouble here.
Now
It can be.
okay.
I
You
was
will
gonna-
see on the left and right-hand sides of the elevator, these things in the walls that are shooting at you. They are the literal worst part of this elevator. Because they don't care where you are. They don't care where the cycle is. They don't care where the enemies are. They will just continue to spawn and continue to shoot at you until you kill all of the enemies required. And it's awful. Risky being the first one through the elevator.
Okay, Risky out first. Gonna set up a small mech to proceed through this section. Sneaky not too far behind here. All three runners finishing the elevator excellently.
And that again is not easy at all. It is incredibly timing reactive. Like, it's time.
I think my first run I died there like 3 or 4 times.
I still die there. But all of our runners did not, and that's fantastic. So this is gonna be another fight room with an enemy we haven't seen yet. The guys that like punch and throw out their arms, you can kind of just duck under their throws and hit them with missiles that way. Rockets are great.
Risky Sneaky doing this right now, taking out this guy very quickly with that rocket strat.
Have time for a quick donation?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
All right, we have $100 from Colin saying, I never thought that a game that I made would ever be run at a GDQ event. Thanks Risky, Shed, Sneaky, and the rest of the runners for making this happen and being patient with me during patch updates.
Thanks, Helen. Yeah, that's one of the devs of this game who's been
Oh my goodness.
absolutely fantastic working with the community and everything.
The runners right now just making their way through all these fight rooms, this last final gauntlet before the final boss area. And the final boss is going to be a very interesting section of the run. Poogle, do you want to kind of talk about what they're going to do in the first boss room? Because when we get there, we're going to have to be a little quiet.
So when they walk into the first boss
Please
room,
die. I'm Gary, both of you.
Sneaky is walking into the first
How about
boss room
you?
right now. Nothing's gonna happen. We are in small mech. But that does mean that the hitbox is there and we can still shoot it, which is fantastic. So we can just damage the boss almost all the way down to nothing health. We have to make sure that there is like a shot or two of health remaining, because if we don't and we kill the boss entirely, it's a problem. Because then, is that a hard lock or a soft lock?
It's a crash.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. It just crashes the game entirely. Now, what is happening is that rat, by the name of Gary, has now just taken over our human's body and is now going to get into this tank and try and murder us.
So we'll let Risky do his counts here. Okay, wonderful. I just want to make sure Risky got his counts.
Thank you. I did not say anything, my bad.
Sneaky here, finishing up the final boss, and what he wants to try and do here is escape his mech before he finishes off the boss, which he does. Beautiful.
Nice, Sneaky.
Shed on the upper left is going to be trying to go for the same thing. So what happens now on Sneaky's screen in the upper right is there are now 2 mechs in the scene because he left his mech there. So in the final sequence, you're normally supposed to run with the dog as the cat.
But that's
Shed
slow.
unfortunately missing the escape from the mech. But you'll see on Sneaky's screen, now that he is the mech, he can use the phase module, which is way faster than the cat's movement, and sadly, he's gonna leave the dog behind.
So what you're saying is Sneaky's not saving the animals. Well, I will save the animals.
That is indeed the case.
And Sneaky, our first runner to finish.
No, get out.
Oh yeah, we should probably call time soon.
My bad.
Good job, Sneaky. You'll have to watch back my embarrassing death at the end there.
Oh no.
I just ejected.
Shed coming up to finish.
And time.
Time for Shed.
Good job,
GG.
And Risky getting the end mech and will be phasing his way to the finish line,
Also
And-
not saving the animals.
also leaving our best friends, the dog.
Time
who
for
is not
Risky.
actually-
Ooh, nice job, guys.
Excellent.
That was a little awkward, but nice run, everyone.
Yeah.
I definitely threw that at the end. All good. It happens. It happens.
Good race, though. Pretty close all the way through. Couple shout-outs. The Gato Roboto community's fantastic. Great runners. Great people. Cullen donated the dev of this game. Fantastic. Made a lot of stuff when we asked for it as the speedrun community, including rebindings. The fast text that you saw us doing was not in the game originally either. The palette swaps that we did today, he hacked that up at the start of the week for us when we asked for it, so that's great. Normally those are pickups you're supposed to go get in the world and then you can use them, but he just gave us a mod that let us flick through them at will, so that's pretty great, yeah.
Yeah. So some shout outs for me. This has been like the best GDQ so far. It's my 4th one, and I wasn't even going to be able to attend. And with a week ago, basically, someone donated enough money so I could go. And honestly, there's so many people supporting me, and it's the only reason I'm here. And it's so wholesome. Like, thank you, everyone that's helped me get to this point and just come up here and lose this race for all of you. I really appreciate it. That's what GDQ is all about.
Shout out to Poogle for letting me use her laptop for this.
Yeah, whatever
Shout
works.
outs to my mom.
There you go. All right. I think we're good.
One sec.
Wow, that was an incredibly fun.
We're back. Hold on.
Just a quick thank you to these people around here. Like, this has been a lot of fun. I'm really happy. I saw Risky tweet out that he might not be able to make it, and I'm really happy that he was able to make it. Both of these runners have been really cool, and I'm very thankful for that. So thank you, everyone.
Are we good this time? All right. That was an incredible run of Gato Roboto by our runners we had there. So now that that's done, let's get to a quick donation. We have $10 from Shadow Jacks saying, hello from Australia. Looking forward to the Toho run. Everyone, keep up the hype. And thanks to everyone behind the scenes, keeping the amazing event running smooth. I'm going to quickly throw us over to a Twitch ad. So see you guys soon. All right, it looks like we are back from the ad, so let's get back to some more donations. We have $25 from Drew that says, a Pokemon Blue task? Yes, please. Remember, guys, we do have that incentive for the Pokemon Blue NSC task later this evening. We are currently $12,000 out of $175,000 to that donation, so make sure you are getting those in so we can get more runs into the marathon. We have $25 from Adrina Brazil. That says, donating for my daughter, her great-grandmother, my grandmother, died of breast cancer at 44 before I was born. Hopefully this will be one step closer to defeating cancer for good. Thank you so much for the $25. We have $100 from No Name that says, nice run, Shed Dad. We have an anonymous we have a $50 donation from Liam. They didn't leave a comment, but thank you so much for the donation. We just got a $500 donation from No Name. Thank you so much for that donation, and keep them coming in, guys. We still have tons of great challenges coming up soon. As a matter of fact, we have an incentive for VVV to upgrade the glitchless run to glitchless 100%. We're still about $1,100 away from that incentive, so keep them getting in. I actually had a chance to sit down with the runner a couple days ago, and it is an absolutely incredible run, so make sure you guys are getting those donations in. We have $10 from Sarzumin saying, if everyone in Twitch chat donated $10 right now, we could immediately more than double what's been raised so far. If you can't donate, please spread the word about the marathon and the Prevent Cancer Foundation. And I guess remember, guys, the Prevent Cancer Foundation is what all of this is about. It's really important that we raise money for charity so that we can help stop cancer before it starts. We have a $50 donation from CapsLock2000 that says, long-time watcher, first-time donator. My aunt was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, so this year means much more to me than ever before. Let's get the Triforce and banish cancer forever. We have a $10 donation from Majima-chan that says, my granddad passed away from cancer a little while ago and it was heartbreaking. So here's a little something towards making sure everyone else doesn't have to go through that. Best of luck to all the runners. Honk. We have a $50 donation coming in from Kefka that says, hey GDQ, your friendly vet tech reminding everyone that preemptive screening is just as important for dogs and cats as it is for humans. If Milo or Otis are getting up there in years, make sure they get regular blood work and physicals by your family's other doctor. We have $25 from Kenjor that says, so glad to be in a position to donate this year. Lost my mom to cancer in September and wish no one else would have to deal with that kind of loss. Keep up the amazing work.